What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Fight franchise and our preview and prediction of the main event of UFC 317, where Charles Oliveira and Ilia Topuria fight for vacant undisputed lightweight gold, as Islam Makhachev has vacated his world title to go up and face Jack Della Maddalena for undisputed welterweight gold later this year. That hasn't been booked yet. We all thought we were going to get the huge and anticipated matchup of Ilia Topuria versus Islam Makhachev, where we thought, this is a huge up-and-coming pound-for-pound number 2 versus pound-for-pound number 1 guy, like we did when Volk fought Islam. We're not getting that. Islam has his own hunt for glory. So Ilia Topuria vacated his belt, and now he gets the chance at undisputed gold. He goes, I'm not fighting unless it's for undisputed gold. So therefore, Islam had to vacate. Charles has come through as the undisputed contender after... He is arguably one of the best in the division, and he's got the history and the prestige behind him, though Arman Sarukian beat him and is arguably number 1 in the division behind Islam, who's going up. That being said, I did a big keys to victory video. If you want to go check that out, I don't know, I'll put it somewhere, or just go back and check it out. It was kind of a more in-depth breakdown technically of the fight, where guys can have success, where both guys can have success in like nuanced moments in the fight. This won't be that. This will just be my overarching prediction, which, and I'll be honest, I've not had this, I can't remember the last time I felt like this going into a fight, where I was changing my mind nearly every hour. I would think about this fight. I'd just go, yeah, Ilia's going to win. No, Charles is going to win. No, Ilia's going to win. This is when you know this is a really good fight. So let's kind of go into the tail of the tape of both guys. So Ilia Topuria, undisputed featherweight champion and undefeated, 16 wins, 0 losses. Charles Oliveira, 35 wins, 10 losses, 1 no contest. 5'7" for Ilia Topuria, 5'10" for Charles Oliveira. 69-inch reach for Ilia Topuria, 74-inch reach for Charles Oliveira. He has a 5-inch reach advantage, and 37-inch reach for Ilia Topuria and 41-inch reach for Charles Oliveira. So when it comes to the physicality of both guys, Charles Oliveira wins in the kind of size and physicality, but Ilia Topuria is a physical guy himself. He's very strong, he's very technical, and he's very durable in the octagon. And he spent his career fighting a lot bigger guys like Max Holloway and Jai Herbert coming up, and he has fought guys with a lot of good strength like Josh Emmett, Bryce Mitchell, and I've forgotten his name now, Alexander Volkanovski, but he's fought the bigger, lankier guys like Jai Herbert and Charles Oliveira. This is a very, very difficult fight to predict, and I'm genuinely keep changing my opinion as I'm making this video. I'm changing it. Ilia Topuria, when you look at his recent resume and his wins since ever joining the UFC, he beat Yusuf Salah, beat Damon Jackson by a KO viciously up against the fence. That's his signature move. Ilia Topuria's signature move is to get you back up against the fence, so then he can land off his crisp boxing shots. And against a guy like Charles Oliveira, if you can get him up against that fence, I think Charles is in a lot of trouble, because I think he can put Charles Oliveira out cold and KO him. Then Ryan Hall, smashes him. Ryan Hall, I'm pretty sure, pulled guard, and then while he's in the guard of Ryan Hall, just smashes him with ground and pound and puts him out. So he's got that tough ground and pound. And then Jai Herbert, the same as the Damon Jackson KO, where he faces a lot of adversity, the most adversity you'd arguably say in the octagon, has Ilia faced, where Jai Herbert lands a head kick, lands a huge knee, rocks him. He's got a similar frame and a bit similar striking to Charles Oliveira, probably not as much power as Charles Oliveira, where Jai Herbert's piecing up Ilia, but Ilia does his thing, stays composed, stays strong, landing that body shot, landing that hook, and then he gets Ilia back up against that he gets Jai Herbert back up against that fence, does Ilia Topuria, lands that body hook, and he lands that right hand up the top, and flat. That's one of the best KOs of the last decade, the way that beautiful boxing was. Then you go Bryce Mitchell, Bryce Mitchell's trying to out-grapple him, and he gets the arm triangle choke, and then he has a decision against Josh Emmett, going to war and proving he can go 5 rounds, and then recently, back-to-back, gets Alex Volkanovski back up against that fence and does some brilliant work, and then Max Holloway, clips Max Holloway, becomes the first person to knock him out, and he's chasing them on the front foot. And when you look at all these finishes, he's on the front foot and getting the finishes. And this is something I want to mention. When you look at Charles Oliveira's recent record, he's only got 2 losses. The one loss, which was, contested, is the Arman Sarukian one. It was a split decision. But the Islam Makhachev one was definitive. He lost and he got submitted by Islam Makhachev. But the one thing to know about that Islam Makhachev loss is Islam Makhachev fought on the front foot. Islam Makhachev kind of pushed Charles Oliveira back. Islam Makhachev was willing to go toe-to-toe with Charles Oliveira. When you look at some of these other guys who fought Charles Oliveira, you look at when he's gone on this amazing streak, Justin Gaethje fought fire with fire, but he didn't have enough firepower coming the other way, where Charles fought back and, rocked Justin Gaethje. Same with Poirier. Poirier was fighting in the pocket with Charles Oliveira, and he didn't put that spike behind his punches. And this is going to be an Ilia Topuria less weight drained. Will he be slower? Will he have even more power? He's probably bulked up a bit. So that's another thing to consider. When you look at the Michael Chandler win recently, the Beneil Dariush win, do they have the same ferocity, the same will to win, the same eagerness to kind of get the finish like Ilia Topuria? I'm just not too sure. That's why I'm so conflicted on how I'm predicting this fight. Because let's be honest, when we say Ilia Topuria is amazing, he is. But Charles Oliveira is just as good. You look at that recent run since he came up to lightweight, go on his win streaks ever since his loss to Paul Felder, finished Clay Guida, finished Jim Miller, finished Tamor, finished Lentz, finished Gordon, finished Kevin Lee, finished decision Tony Ferguson, finished Michael Chandler, finished Dustin Poirier, finished Justin Gaethje, finished Beneil Dariush, and then decisioned Michael Chandler. But it's that recent Michael Chandler one where he just fought a bit slower, a bit more methodical, a bit smart, and he was a bit more technical and not reckless. Is that to his advantage? I'm not too sure. Like, you are literally watching this video and watching me think on the spot how I think this fight's gonna go. This is how I think it's gonna go. I think someone's going to get the finish. I don't think this is going to go all 5 rounds. And I think it's going to start with Charles Oliveira starts fast with his striking. He's going to come out with his Thai style with his knee coming up a bit. And he stands quite straight on. So you'd think he'd be susceptible to getting hit. But I feel like he'll throw the teeps, throw the kicks to the leg, throw the leg kicks, go low, and he comes brilliantly with straight punches. Ilia's got great boxing defense, but he does like to come looping with those hooks. So the straight punches for Oliveira will have a lot of success. I think the reach as well, he'll have a lot of success with the reach, backing up someone like Ilia Topuria. I wonder and I think Charles is going to do this. I think Charles, he'll maintain the centre and just kind of piece up Ilia at range and just stab at his body. And I think he will try and grapple early. And I think he'll try and take down Ilia Topuria. And I think Ilia will have decent scrambles at first. But I think the moment when he feels kind of Charles Oliveira, because I think Charles Oliveira doesn't look strong, but he's actually very strong and he's got very wiry, muscular strength, where he'll kind of trip or kind of find moments of weakness where Ilia Topuria is waiting and then kind of look for a choke. He can stall out this fight a little, can Charles Oliveira, because his submissions are so good and he can find a submission out of nowhere. And I know he likes to go for chokes, but let's be honest, this guy can go for leg locks, heel hooks, arm bars, you name it. This guy's got it in his submission arsenal. He's got 14 submission wins, I want to say, in the octagon. So he's the best submission artist in the UFC. And I think there's going to be a moment in this fight that Charles Oliveira will get Ilia Topuria in a precarious moment. Ilia Topuria could come out, back up Charles against the fence and KO him in 1 round, and I wouldn't be surprised. I genuinely wouldn't be surprised. But for some reason, there's something screaming at me that Charles Oliveira is going to win this fight via submission, and I don't know why. I just think there's going to be a moment in this fight where Ilia's going to get backed up against the fence, or Ilia's going to get in close and Charles can go for a takedown. Ilia can defend the takedown, but they'll scramble, and somehow Charles Oliveira can end up on top. For so long, we've seen Ilia Topuria batter these guys, beat these guys in this featherweight division. He's sunned them, in a better word to speak. He's bullied these guys, but he's always been the hammer, never the nail. And we've never really seen him in moments of adversity, having to come. And I know the Josh Emmett fight was close, but he was way more technically better than Josh Emmett. But we've never actually had to see him fight through a precarious position or something where he's had to overcome a lot of adversity, where someone's rocked him. Well, actually, he has, to be fair. I take that back. Jai Herbert clipped him. But at the higher level, to be fair, he's not had that. Like, Jai Herbert did rock him, to be fair, and he did fight back very well to get back from that. And he has got a lot of tenaciousness, so I will take that back. But for whatever reason, I just see somehow, some way, Charles Oliveira in the first 3 rounds will find himself in a position to cinch up a choke. We saw against Arman Sarukian in the UFC 300 fight, Charles Oliveira had the choke against him, and Arman's kind of scooted his trousers down a bit, like his shorts down a bit, and he just finally wiggles his way out of it. Michael Chandler had very good submission defense against Charles Oliveira, but he's a bit more physical and stronger. I feel like if let's say, for example, Charles gets his back, Charles has got the longer arms. If he can just cinch it up fast, it will be done, because the squeeze that he possesses is unbelievable. I know Ilia has amazing judo, so he can try and do something, but I just think once he's got this locked up, it's going to be done. And I think there's going to be a moment in this fight where his strength, his reach, his physicality, his advantages, Charles Oliveira is going to submit Ilia Topuria in the first 3 rounds. I just see it. Don't know why. I don't know how. I just see it. I'm going Charles Oliveira to win via submission. A lot of people are going to probably call me a casual. A lot of people are going to say that's dumb. A lot of people are going to say Ilia's going to win. I think Ilia's fantastic. I think Ilia could KO and finish Charles Oliveira. I'm literally just going off a thought in my head, and I'm probably wrong. But for some reason, I'm predicting it, and I think it. I think there will be a moment where Ilia Topuria is a smaller guy. He'll be susceptible to a guillotine. He'll be susceptible to moments of grappling to be kind of done over. There's moments where Charles can get on his back, like he did against Dustin Poirier when he got the choke, where he can put his weight on him. Again, same with Michael Chandler against these smaller guys who aren't as tall and kind of wiry as him, where he can kind of get behind them, put his weight on them, get them to sink to a knee, get them to fight the hands, and then once they're fighting the hands and there's a lapse of judgment, that's it, it's in, and then it's done. Islam Makhachev fought fire with fire. He pushed forward, grappled, wrestled, and fought with Charles on the front foot. Did Islam Makhachev? I don't think Ilia will do the same. If Ilia does the same, I can see him winning, because that, I think, the success is to beat Charles Oliveira. You need to fight fire with someone like him to finish him. But I just think there is going to be a moment where Ilia Topuria is going to be exposed in this fight for a submission, and I think Charles Oliveira is going to cinch up that submission, and he's going to put him out. And that's going to set up a big fight between Charles and Arman Sarukian. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm wrong? Most likely, a lot of you are just commenting, you're wrong. Ilia's going to win. Ilia's going to destroy him. Ilia by KO. Ilia by however he wants. That's fair enough, but this is just a prediction. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe for more MMA and fight content coming soon. We hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll catch you in the next one.